Ready for another round? It's Brewsday Tuesday. Here's DreZ and Big Nate.
Here we are, drinking beer on a Tuesday. Brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store in downtown Blacksburg. We're drinking Deftones beers, i.e. Collaborations that they did with Belching Beaver out there in California. I just popped Good Morning Beautiful, which is their brown ale with notes of coconut, coffee, and maple, coming in at 5.5%. Full disclosure, I guess this sounds like it might be more up your alley, but I haven't had it before. I've had the one that you just popped.
So brown ales are always interesting to me because every time I have one, I love it. Big fan. Never ever seek them out, so I'm kind of glad this was in the front row pack, as Belching Beaver is calling it. I'm not gonna lie, segment in, this is so far my favorite one we've done. I got the Deftones Ohms, and if you're watching on video, you can see this beautiful can with not a lot of information on it. Of course, that was released off of the release of 2020's Ohms. Great album, 5.5% ABV. It's just a regular pale ale, and it lives up to that description.
Yep, and mine, brown, as you would expect. Yeah, with the Deftones album, it's just like the cover where it's got the dots. What is that, pointillism or whatever?
Yeah.
And I know that when it came to the actual album cover, they were auctioning. Were they just selling them off, or not auctioning, I guess, but just selling them off to raise money for? Well, I guess it was during the COVID stuff.
So they did some weird NFT thing with the dots, like each dot, and you got some like commemorative print, but each dot, and then the money went to a charity, which I wish I could remember exactly what it was now, but they were like $10 a dot.
Yeah, it had something to do with COVID because there was there was
no,
I think it was
that's right. I think it's how they were paying their crew.
That's what it was? Yeah, to help out because everything, obviously the tour and everything went to hell in a handbasket that year. But yeah, so I've had that beer. Obviously I pulled it up on the
beachside
in Aruba. Yeah, it was quite nice for a nice little pale ale. Now this one though, a nice brown. Oh man, it's got a great nose. Again, and we were talking about this off air. Like you said, with brown ales, I definitely don't seek them out. In fact, besides IPAs, DIPAs, and stuff, I don't really mainly seek out anything. But it makes it so that whenever I do have one, it's like, oh yeah, I forget that there's other beers out there, and they can be good as well. As long as it's actually a good beer, whatever style it is, if it's good, I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not one of those things that's not necessarily my first go-to, and I think that's why I run into it. I run into the same thing with music. Like, I'll hear a song playing, like, if we're traveling on the radio from years and years and years ago, and it's like, oh, man, I really used to like that band. And then I never go and seek it out again. If I have that same relationship with the brown ale, it's almost like you said, you appreciate it more because it's in that moment, and this is great, but let's not ruin a good thing by oversaturating it.
Yeah, so we were talking about other craft beer band collaborations. Obviously, the Deftones comes to name. Trooper, that's to me that was one of the first ones that I can recall. With Robinson Brewery over there in London, Iron Maiden got with them and they put out the Trooper beer, and they've put out a few different versions of that since then. I know that it's not just Trooper; you can get a few different kinds. There's like they put out a steel one. I think there was another one as well.
So the Trooper, I have an interesting story with that one. We had it the night before my wedding, and I didn't think about what we were doing. We had been drinking, and so later in the night we drank it, and I still have the can. I don't remember if I liked the beer at all or not.
Oh, that was your only time having it?
Yep. So I don't know if that's a strong experience or a negative experience.
Yeah, well, I kept one can, and it was on the shelf in my office until the shelf fell down, and then that one it came down and popped. Another collaboration beer that's on my office shelf now that still survived is the Brewdog Lamb of God. It's an NA beer though, so that's one. And I think I gave you one of those, didn't I?
Yeah, you told me. I still have it because you told me that
It's not good.
It's
Don't
not worth
drink it. It's
drinking
not
it.
worth opening.
It's
Just
better
keep it-
as a shelf item. So yes,
Yeah.
I do still have that. That made the move with us. The one I had, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or tell me if you disagree. But Metallica, man, great at everything they do. I haven't had blackened whiskey yet, and that's purely
I haven't
because of
either.
the Internight beer.
That's another one of those ones where the first time I had it was in Lane Stadium, so it got a good score. But it's a Pilsner.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
just- And like I said, I'm sure their whiskey situation is much better. It seems like they're working with a really knowledgeable distiller with the blackened whiskey.
mhm.
So I am eventually going to have to like pull the trigger on it and really sit down and like whatever playlist for the bottle I get, go ahead and listen to it.
Yeah.
But,
So
man, Internight did not thrill me.
yeah, I mean, but it's in theory it's got it's where it's in theory. So I googled band and brewery collaborations. Number 1 is the Deftones, and we're drinking those. Number 2 is the Iron Maiden beers, and it does have a picture. So there's the Trooper, there's Sun and Steel. That was the other one I was trying to think of. I've had that. There's the Hellcat. I've had that one too. And then there's another one in here. I guess it doesn't really say particularly. So moving on.
With their latest album, I think they're going to move into sake.
Oh,
the,
yeah. Wouldn't surprise me.
samurai imagery.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all. So it looks like Motorhead did a collaboration with Cameron's Brewery, did Road Crew, American Pale Ale. I would be happy to try that one. What? Megadeth.
Oh, is this Tout Le Monde or is
Tout
this?
Le Monde. I didn't know that they did that.
Yeah.
Le Fin du Monde's one of my all-time favorite beers. I did not know that Megadeth teamed up with them. Oh, okay, now that's my new.
We'll have to find that down the line because
That is gonna be my new coveted beer. It's only 4.5% though. There's something wrong there. It should be a higher ABV.
well, Dave quit drinking.
Well, that's probably what it is. He brought it down. Number 5 is Metallica's Enter Night. Oh, that's right, Sublime. They did that Mexican lager with Ale Smith. I have had that.
See, I love a good Mexican lager. I'd be interested to try that one.
Well, there was remember there is the Deftones Mexican lager.
Dia de los Deftones.
Yeah, so that one exists. Pearl Jam, I guess, had a beer done with Georgetown Brewing Company out of Seattle. It looks like it's a Home Shows Pale Ale. Never seen that one or heard that
Yeah,
one.
I'd say that's got to be one of those like limited release when they're playing shows in Seattle. They wheel that out.
Clutch with New Belgium. Apparently, they did a wood-aged dark sour stout. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that might be too much going on.
It might be, but it's Clutch. So either way, that's probably worth checking out. Kiss, of course, obviously.
Gene Simmons' biggest bragging point is about how he doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, and then you want to come out with a beer. I know for a fact
they
you've
wanna-
not had your mouth on this.
They want to come out with anything they can slap their name on and try and make money.
Dimebag was buried in a Kiss casket.
This Kiss beer is with a Swedish brewer, Kronlins. I'm not even going to try. So AC/DC has done one with it looks like a brewery in Germany, Carlsberg Brewing. They have the Australian style beer. Sepultura has a beer, another German style. Anthrax teaming up with Butternuts Beer and Ale. Guar. Oh yeah, Guar beer. You've probably had Guar beer.
So, that comes out. It's always been interesting to me with all the breweries that are like in the Richmond area. They always go to Cigar City for their breweries,
That
which
is
is down in
strange.
Florida. It's
That is
always
strange to
bothered
me.
me.
Because there's a lot of great
that's-
breweries in Richmond.
That's
and, yeah,
definitely one of those ones. And I mean, they've got the Guar bar, so it shouldn't be hard for them to get a partnership with the local brewery. That's one of those ones that's like, definitely buy it for the label, not what's inside.
Yeah, but that is upsetting to me because there's such good beer in Richmond. It must have been that the Cigar City people were such big Guar fans that they reached out,
That's
and
gotta
that's
be
how
it.
it happened. The Sword just announced going on tour with Clutch. Real Ale Brewing in Texas. So they got a spicy English-style ale. Amon Amarth has a collaboration with Three Floyds Brewing.
Is it mead? I'm be shocked if it's not mead.
It says a few beers have been brewed from Swedish melodic death metal band Amon Amarth, namely Ragnarok and Heider Berserker IPA from Three Floyds. They teamed up. That kind of makes sense.
That's interesting.
Municipal Waste teamed up with Cigar City.
Another Richmond band.
Exactly. There's got to be.
What is Cigar City doing down there?
Whoever started Cigar City must have been from
Started the
Richmond.
map. Yeah.
Behemoth has a beer. Queens Bohemian Lager. There's the Lamb of God Ghost Walker, which is the NA beer from Brewdog that we were talking about.
Shocked it's not Cigar City.
311 did an amber ale with
Of course they did.
Rock Brothers, of course, yes. The Toadies apparently have a beer. Bach Slider from Texas Bach. We have G-Love and Special Sauce. Dropkick Murphys with Magic Hat. They teamed up and did an English pub ale. Refused. I guess they did a beer with, what was this? Nissamny Brewery. Okay, out of PA. Red Fang. Sticks.
Sticks.
Oh, Mama Sticks. Voodoo Brewing. That's probably actually decent beer. Quicksand. Maryland Doomfest. And that's it. So, at least on this
it's
list.
still
There's probably a lot more out there, I would imagine.
I say, but it seems like there's a lot of bands that it shocks me that they haven't necessarily cashed in on that.
Yeah, it's
Like when's Journey coming out with a beer?
I don't know, but there's definitely no shortage of them out there. Try them all if you can. They're like Pokemon. If you can get them a taste, But I tell you, man, I think Belching Beaver and the Deftones collaboration was number one for a reason, because not only, I mean, Megadeth a close second, because them and Robinson, I think they had 5. I guess the Deftones at this point has probably done 6 with them, because we were looking up.
We've got the 4 here, and then there was a limited release that they haven't re-released, and then there was the Dia de los Deftones.
So at least 6. So that's probably the longest standing, and they started back in 2016.
And it seems like
with the Phantom Bride,
the band, or at least Chino's, very involved with the making it happen. I wonder if at some point, like, Belching Beaver's like, please just give us time to make our own product. Just stop, man.
I don't know. They're doing something right there. And one thing that I did notice with the Good Morning Beautiful, I like how the Belching Beaver does have the beanie on this one, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh my God, I did
Trying
not.
to not get out of focus, but and again, this can is really well done. Good Morning Beautiful, our 3rd release with the Deftones. So this is the one that came 3rd. So let's try and put them. What was it? Phantom Bride,
3.
Phantom Bride, and then Digital. The Digital.
Yeah, I think we discovered Digital was shortly after Phantom Bride.
So then it would have been Good Morning. Deftone or the
Dia de
Ohms
los
would have been last.
Deftones, yeah, Ohms was their most recent. So there's one more missing.
There's one more forgetting. You can look that up while I'm reading this. The beautiful 3rd release of the Deftones teamed up with brown ale with notes of coconut, coffee, and maple. Read this label aloud each day because beer is beautiful and so are you. Oh, thank you, Can.
I didn't get a sweet message, just this mysterious image.
Grab a pint, put on your headphones, and drink away. Cheers, Tom. That's pretty cool.
I love that mentality.
Yeah, really cool label again, and it is, it's a nice brown ale. It's not something I seek out all the time. This one is not going to get a 5 from me because, well, frankly, I like the hazy IPAs, and that's better in my book. But this is still damn delicious. It has some notes of sweetness, like it said. It mentions the coconut, perhaps. That's where I'm picking it up. Maybe the maple. Coffee makes it a little bit bitter on the end, but I'd say this one's a solid 4.25 in my book. Good Morning Beautiful. I like it.
You are DreZ Drinks on Untapped?
I am. Let's do the Untapped spiel. You are Big Nate, a.k.a. Horror Radio Show.
Horror Shit Radio, yeah.
I can never get that right.
Yeah, just Big Nate Danger. You'll find me.
Look up Big Nate.
And, yeah, I'm really glad that we went ahead and pulled the trigger on this because Pale Ales is another one of my go-to, like, session beers. I don't know. I love IPAs. I'm not horribly picky when it comes to beer as it is, but Pale Ales always have a soft spot in my heart. And This Ohms, man. I'm going to go ahead. Like I said, I don't have the flowery, beautiful description, just this really cool label artwork. But from the label artwork, the flavor, it's crisp, it's clean, it's downright refreshing. I'm actually going to go ahead and award it a 5.
Do it.
Really got to stop doing that. But yeah, it's got a 5. Ohms Pale Ale, highly recommended. Of course, you're going to have to do some legwork to get it.
Yeah, any of these Deftone beers, if you come across them, give them a shot. They're awesome. I mean, not only do you have the Deftones tie-in, but Belching Beaver, and I do think, I was talking about how I came across these beers out in the river, but I'm pretty sure I did have a couple other Belching Beaver beers. It's a good brewery, and if you got a good brewery and a good band teaming up together, guess what? You're going to get good beer.
I don't think this is going to be my last order from Belching Beaver. That's for damn certain.
There you go, man. Well, thank you so much for putting that order in. Awesome stuff. Appreciate the beer. Appreciate the good Deftones tunes. We'll take a quick break, and we'll get back with more rock and roll right here on 105.3 The Bear. Stick around.